Welcome back to the program, Paul Jacobs. Paul, thanks for taking the time.
Larry, it is great to be with you.
Paul, for the sake of people who have not heard your story before, when you and I first met, I just knew you'd come from money. I just knew that your dad was with rocket science. Mom is a environmentalist at Johns Hopkins. And then you told me about your background and about how you take the bus and hurry to get home because you didn't have electricity and you needed to have light to do your homework. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, Paul?
I grew up in a single-parent household. My father worked two jobs. He was a car salesman during the day. He worked putting tires on vehicles at night, worked tirelessly, did not take public assistance, and was determined that we would have a better life through hard work and putting his hand to the plow. But there were tough days. There were days where we went, well, not really days, but months where we went with no running water, no electricity. And yes, you're right. I used to run home from the bus stop during the day because I had to get home before the sun went down so I could get homework done and go to bed at night. And that was the formative years of my life. But it taught me hard work. It taught me the value of family, and it taught me how I can be a voice for the voiceless, like I was voiceless for so long, suffering in a single-parent household, but nothing compared to what we're talking about in Guatemala.
Mm-hmm. Paul, how did you get involved with Food for the Poor?
Wow. Just about 10 years ago, I literally was displaced and looking for work. I did not have, I was just basically on the beach, as they say, looking for an opportunity. I saw an opportunity with Food for the Poor to marry my communication skills with my heart for where I basically come from. My family is of Jamaican descent. Food for the Poor in 1982 began in basically providing food and clean, safe food for missions in Jamaica. My wife's family from Haiti. I thought it was cathartic that I would go and work and advocate for families in the Caribbean and Latin America doing what I do.
Mm-hmm. Paul, how bad is it in Guatemala in terms of malnutrition?
It's very simple. It can be explained through one family. Placida, a mother I met a couple weeks ago. She literally works 7 days a week, $2 a day. That's how much she earns. And she has two small children, 5 and 3. And when I asked her, why are their bellies bloated, and you just told me that they don't eat enough, and she said it's because they drink the water from the local city source because I can't get clean water, and it's making them sick every single day. And I'm working tirelessly to make sure that your listeners and each one of you know that you have an opportunity that can be the instrument for change for this mom and these children.
Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, Paul, but the problem with malnutrition is even worse in Guatemala. How did that happen?
Well, first of all, these families that live in these communities where our ministry partners and Food for the Poor is working every single day, they have no representation. You've been there, Larry. You've seen these families. They're nowhere near any kind of civil society. They're not in the city centers. And so they're just far out with no representation. The government is very chaotic at times. So ministry partners go in to these communities where they are living in an agrarian economy, and a 5-year drought has just completely wiped out large and small farms. So now any chance of employment has gone. And so we're trying to then try to give a hand up to these families so that they can get some help, get the food they need, and get clean, safe water.
Finally, Paul Jacobs, we constantly tell our potential donors, prospective donors, that your money will provide food for a year, water for life. How are you able to do that?
Very simple. Our ministry partners work tirelessly to help us get food donated. We have a lot of food that gets donated. We get it shipped into these countries. They are the distribution points. You've seen it firsthand. We've been working with these ministry partners on the ground in Guatemala and our other 17 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. And secondly, Water for Life is when we can install a water well through your generous gifts and donations, or a water purification unit that pumps 10,000 gallons of clean, safe, pristine water in a community. As long as those families live in that community, they have for life clean, safe water.
So please go to my website, larryelder.com, right now. You'll see the banner at the very top, Food for the Poor, or call 855-918-4673. That's 855-918-HOPE. Paul Jacobs, we only have just a few seconds left. I'd like to ask you about your wife. How's she doing?
She's doing well. Thank you very much. Health is back on track, and things are going real well.
She had some really, really serious health challenges, and I know how concerned you were. I'm so happy things are turning out well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
God bless, Paul.
God bless you.
855-918-4673, 855-918-HOPE. You'll see the banner at the very top. Now, here is the end of that discussion on Morning Joe, where Harold Ford, the former Democrat congressman from Tennessee, was completely unaware that Hillary had started the birther movement. And finally, Morning Joe turns to John Heilman, who co-authored a book about the 2008 campaign, and said, yep, it was Hillary.
An actual evidentiary basis for what you're saying, and I would agree with.
Well, they're the ones that spread it in 2008?
That spread what in 2008?
That Barack Obama may not be a Christian.
Well, we should ask Heilman this question because he's the official historian of the 2008 campaign.
I don't recall that, but if you're telling me that was the case, I just don't recall.
John Heilman?
It was the case.
It
was the case. Thank you, John Heilman.
And didn't you go on 60 Minutes and not actually say no? He says he is.
I'm offering my.
What was that?
I'm affirming the Scarborough-Brzezinski.
Okay, do you know about this?
I'm affirming the Scarborough-Brzezinski thesis, and that thesis is that it was the Hillary campaign who started the birther movement. Is this thing on? So Antonio Sabato expresses a point of view held by a slim majority of Republicans, and only 45% of Democrats believe that Obama, quote, is a Christian at heart, close quote. And now this man can't work?